Hello, fellow litigators. Court is now in session. Guys, I am so sorry. My internet completely cut off in the middle of my previous live, so I have to record this all over again. So some of the stuff will be redundant, but hey, let's get into this. So I did a part one about some of the details that are lurking and coming out about the Idaho 4 alleged killer. And I thought I was done with my live, and then I find this article on Daily Mail that has more details about how creepy this guy was. So let's get into the article. Idaho 4 killer is accused of scaring female staff at a brewery and branding one a BITC to the H. Okay, he called her a B for spurning his advances. So he tried to make an advancement toward her, and she was not feeling him, and he called her a B. And he was scaring female staff at this bar that he was at. The bar is located in Pennsylvania, about a bit close near his home. So it's a place where he used to frequent. So as it was revealed that FBI tracked his Hyundai across the U.S. for 4 days before nailing him. BRYAN, 28, was taken into custody on Friday on the brutal Idaho quadruple murders that ripped the nation. Jordan, I can't say his last name, so I'm not even going to try. Jordan Serlnick or something, 34, owner of 7 Siren Brewing Company, accused Kohberger of harassing his female staff and customers at the Pennsylvania bar. Wow. He said his staff had made notes about Kohberger's behavior and that he confronted the man once, but Kohberger refuted the allegations and left. The bar is located near his Pennsylvania home, where police tracked him down after surveying his white Hyundai for 4 days. His Washington State University criminology classmates also said he became more talkative after the killings, but turned deadpan when the slayings were discussed. So whenever they brought up the Idaho 4 killings, he would stop talking. He was so loud and rambunctious and happy, but as soon as they start mentioning Idaho 4, he shut down, y'all. If that doesn't scream to you consciousness of guilt, I don't know what else does. This man his behavior screams guilt. His Washington State University criminology classmates noted that Kohberger was intelligent, but he had few friends after allegedly making anti-LGBTQ comments. So ever since he said he was against LGBTQ, people stopped talking to him. And you have to understand that makes sense, because if he was in the Seattle area, that area is very liberal in Washington. So if he doesn't like LGBTQ, and that's the majority of the population, he's not going to have too many friends. That's a problem. So that's why he had few friends. The Idaho quadruple murder suspect harassed female staff at a Pennsylvania bar near his hometown, the owner claimed. BRYAN Kohberger, 28, who was charged with the murder of Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Madison, studies at the nearby Washington State University, but previously attended DeSales in Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh. While there, Jordan Serlnick, 34 years old, who runs 7 Siren Brewing Company, said Kohberger had problematic interactions with women at his bar. Oh my gosh, guys. This man seems like a womanizer. A womanizer. Now makes me wonder, though, guys, did he make an advance towards maybe Kaylee or one of the other girls? Because remember, she said she had a stalker. What if he was her stalker? We need to figure out what his connection is with these girls, y'all. I'm just saying, because he has a habit of harassing women. So something's off about the guy. Serlnick told NBC workers labeled Kohberger in their systems as a guy who makes creepy comments, and said he once called a staffer a B for spurning his advances. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm done. This really makes sense now. I really feel like, what if he was Kaylee's stalker? There's some, man, guys, we got to find out more about this dude and his connection with these 2 girls. The scrutiny into Kohlberger's character comes as he denies the allegations, while police believe he is guilty after it was revealed the FBI tracked his Hyundai across the country for 4 days before Christmas. My gosh. And other sources are saying he's been tracked for weeks, guys, like TMZ. And I'm more inclined to believe TMZ because, y'all, TMZ be having some strong sources. I'm just saying. But maybe they've been tracking him for weeks, waiting for his DNA. And then probably the last 4 days before Christmas, they really started following him probably. Then they arrested him at his home just yesterday. Here is the sick little psychopath here. Oh my God, this man is a psychopath, guys. He's the Ted Bundy Jr., man. He sounds like Ted Bundy. You remember how Bundy was the same way, harassing women and doing weird, sick stuff? And he's the same way. But this is the guy, Jordan. He's the man that owns the bar who was being interviewed by Daily Mail. He is the one that's saying that sicko BRYAN was over here stalking his staff members, stalking women at the bar, y'all. And he's 34, so he's a little more mature, y'all. He gonna tell it like it is. He said they were harassing his female staff and the customers. And here's the bar here that they're talking about. This is the Pennsylvania bar located less than half a mile from Kohlberger's family home. He sounded like he was a privilege that his parents thought he could do no wrong. Because, guys, these are pretty sorority girls. I'm starting to wonder if he had a thing for one of these two, the two pretty blondes. I'm just saying, y'all. Remember I was telling y'all in the other video that I thought maybe somebody had a obsession with these poor girls, but we have to figure out if he knew them. Reading his staffers' notes on Kohlberger, this part took me out when I was on the first live. This man, okay, guys, BRYAN was so problematic and so psychotic and a lunatic that they literally kept notes about him. They wrote notes about him. That's crazy. Have you ever heard of a bar keeping notes of a person? Because there's a bunch of customers that come in at a bar, right? So the fact that they had to take notes on the guy, that should tell you something is really psychotic about this dude. So they still kept the records of the sick things that he was doing. And all Jordan had to do was pull out the notes. And he was like, he's reading this note that he kept that some of the customers wrote. He said, hey, this guy makes creepy comments. Keep an eye on him. He'll have 2 or 3 beers and then just get a little too comfortable. Oh my gosh. Can you believe that? That's what somebody wrote about him at the bar. My gosh, I am done. What this dude is. He looks like a creep too. The brewery owner noted that Kohlberger would also ask women in the bar who they were with and where they lived. This is Ted Bundy, y'all. I don't care what nobody said. This is Ted Bundy Jr. You know what? I'm about to put a note in here now. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm putting Ted Bundy Jr. That is who this guy is, guys. I'm done. This is Ted Bundy Jr. BRYAN Kohlberger is Ted Bundy Jr. Because that's what Ted Bundy used to do. Weird, creepy stuff like that. Be coming up, he would act like he had a cast and he was injured and walk up to girls and try to have them get in his car and all this weird stuff. Wow, asking these women in the bar who they were with and where they lived. You creepy psycho. Why would you ask somebody you don't even know all that personal information? When they ignored him, he would get upset with them a little bit. Cerelnik told NBC. No, he wasn't just getting upset with them a little bit because he's calling them the B word and all that. He can't. This is a guy that can't handle rejection, y'all. I really want to know. Man, I want to know, man. Is this the stalker that Kaylee was talking about? The bar owner said the last he spoke with Kohlberger, he confronted the woman about his alleged inappropriate behavior. Wow. The bar owner, wow. And he said, I went up to him. I said, hey, BRYAN, welcome back. We appreciate you coming back. I just wanted to talk to you real quick and make sure that you're going to be respectful this time and we're not going to have any issues. Cyril said 28-year-old was startled. So Bryan got startled and he was shocked that I was saying that and said, I don't know what you're talking about. You totally have me confused. No, they don't have you confused. They wrote letters about you, Bryan. They wrote letters about you. All them customers that come into their bar and they had to stop and write letters about you. You're crazy. KOHBERGER never showed up to the bar again, y'all. And Serlnick didn't hear about him until he was taken into custody by Pennsylvania State Police on Friday morning. More than 2,000 miles from where 4 university students were killed in their beds on November 13th. This sounds like something he would do because most of these bars late at night. So he probably would be up about that crazy time. And look at, guys, just check out the map here. The map here really does give you a visual of how far he traveled. So he was in the Washington area over here in the school, but on December 18th, he goes for a winter break. So winter break schools that let out or whatever. And his dad comes all the way to Washington, right? And travels with him in the white Hyundai that he used to drive to these victims' house to kill them and drive all the way 2,532 miles back to Pennsylvania in his hometown. He trying to claim he wasn't fleeing, y'all, but it was convenient, though. It was quite convenient for him to have winter break because then he can get away from the area while they're looking for this white Elantra. It gives him all that distance away. So it was very, very convenient for him. He thought he was going to get away with it. Can you believe the crime took place 6 weeks ago, y'all? 25,000 miles, 2,500 miles from where KOHBERGER was arrested. He was over here because he left for a winter break. Idaho is very close to Washington, so very convenient for him to make this crime. But like I said, when he got on winter break, him and his dad took this road trip back home with that white Hyundai, y'all. The white Hyundai he used. And here is an example visual of the car that they were looking for and similar to the car he has. Now, there's rumors claiming that car belongs to his mom, but who knows? We'll have to figure that out. But he sounds like a spoiled brat. Maybe his mom did let him take the car back to Washington and let him keep that car for transportation and stuff. The kid seems like a spoiled brat. Police were on the hunt for KOHBERGER's white Hyundai Elantra, which officials began tracking around Christmas time as the suspect drove across the country, y'all. I bet you the FBI followed him all the way there. Followed him all the way from Washington back hometown. Police said they began tracking and surveying KOHBERGER around Christmas and stayed on him for 4 days when they spotted the white Hyundai Elantra they believed was connected to the murders. So, y'all, we got to give a shout out to the lady at the gas station because she is the one that set the ball rolling, y'all. She set the ball rolling. But I'm telling y'all, this is Ted Bundy Jr. That's his nickname. Because he sounds way too much like a Ted Bundy to me. Investigators said KOHBERGER drove cross country in the car to his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Albrightsville, man, Albrightsville, whatever. These places, these different towns, y'all, they be taking me out with these names. I never been to some Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. It's an interesting name. His car was confirmed to be at the Pennsylvania home. And officials worked quickly to obtain a warrant for his arrest, law enforcement sources told CNN. Along with the surprise bar owner, students who attended Washington State University with KOHBERGER said they were shocked to learn that the quiet man in their classroom was the prime suspect in the brutal slayings. That was the first red flag they should have already known, y'all, that he was a quiet man. Something about them quiet people, the quiet, sinister people in the back of the room that be sitting there lurking, they be the suspects. If y'all know anybody like that in y'all classrooms, y'all need to be very careful about that person. He might be a secret sociopath. But this young lady here on the screen, she was interviewed by Daily Mail, and she has some tea for us because she said when she observed him in class, he was talkative and animated and all that. But as soon as they brought up Idaho 4, he shut down. So her name is BK Norton. She's not going to give us her first name. She just say BK Norton. She said Kohlberger became more talkative after the killings, but turned deadpan. Ooh, she used an interesting word too. She said deadpan. That's a very descriptive word. When they were brought up during their classes. So whenever they mentioned Idaho 4, he shut down. B.K. Norton, who was in the same criminal justice graduate program with Kohlberger, said her classmate appeared more animated and talkative following the murders. He seemed more upbeat and willing to carry a conversation, she told the New York Times. Okay, she talked to the New York Times. But Norton noted all his enthusiasm, y'all. That little enthusiasm he had, it went away. And he would become quiet and deadpan when the class would discuss the Idaho murder case. Yep. As soon as they talked about the case that he was involved in, allegedly, y'all, allegedly, all of a sudden he want to be quiet now. He want to act brand new. He was being all, he got a sense of empowerment after he brutally slayed these poor victims. He was empowered. He feels no remorse. He feels a smirky, arrogant cockiness about him. Isn't this disgusting, guys, how sick people are out in the world like this guy? So here is kind of giving us a map of everything. This is the Washington State University where BRYAN Kohlberger studies. So he studies right here, 8.4 miles in Washington, Pullman, Washington, right here in the map. All he got to do is drive 8 miles. That's nothing into Idaho, Moscow, Idaho, right in the home where the 4 students were murdered. He was right there. That's not even a drive, really. That's like a stroll in the park. 8 miles, 8.4 miles is nothing, guys. That's real close by. My gosh. I can't wait to figure out the connection, y'all. There's got to be some reason why he targeted this house and why he went up the stairs. Because remember what the father said. The father of Kaylee said he didn't have to go upstairs. Why did he feel the need to go upstairs? This man really wanted to kill as many people as he could. My God. It says the suspect is believed to have driven some 2,300 miles from Moscow to Pennsylvania. He was attending college in nearby Washington State where he forensic psychology. Here is the house, y'all, where they ambushed, where the FBI went in on them. They went to this house right here, y'all. They got him. Kohlberger was taken into custody in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, a small town in the heart of Poconos Mountain, more than 2,000 miles from where the gruesome killings took place. This was the house, y'all. They got it all. Somebody had a camera on the house. They were not playing, man. This is the house, though, right here. This is like a nice house, too, doesn't it? This kid is spoiled. I don't believe he had any reaction, Norton told the New York Post, saying it was odd because everyone was glued to the case and speculated on the lack of public information. Oh my gosh. And he was sitting there in the back of the room all that time while they're talking about Idaho 4 in his classroom. And he's sitting there knowing in deep inside that he's the one that killed them. Dang, isn't that crazy, guys? They said we had quite long conversations in class about it too. I don't believe I remember him commenting about it at all. And that's got to be weird, guys, because all of these students that are talking about it, you know they're going to talk about it because they're in a criminology program. Their classes, their studies are all about criminal justice and crime. So it makes sense that they're going to talk about a very well-known public crime that everyone's, focused on. That's something of topic for their studies, right? So don't you think it's a little odd that he's in this criminology doctorate program? And he seems to be the only person in the classroom that shuts completely down when everybody talks about Idaho 4, but he was so loud before they talked about it. Yeah, this dude did it. He did it. He did it. His behavior is too obvious, y'all. This is way too obvious. Come on, y'all. Kohlberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder. They need to give him the death penalty, guys. I'm done. He needs the death penalty, dude. The way he killed these poor 4 kids, he needs a death penalty. There's no other option. If that prosecutor is soft on crime, it's just gonna make people feel like they can get away with stuff like this. He needs a death penalty. Shoot. Norton told the New York papers that her class was in shock over Kohlberger's arrest, describing him as smart and quiet. Okay, they already said it, y'all. Why is it all the time about these serial killers? The serial killers are quiet. Why? Okay, smart and quiet. Sounds like Ted Bundy to me. Okay, Ted Bundy was smart, but except for Ted Bundy was a little flamboyant. He was very like cocky. He thought he was the smartest person in the room too. So another Ted Bundy to me. With an interest in forensic psychology. Why? See, this man, he sounded like he was studying himself. He probably wondered why he had all these sick thoughts. You know what I mean? He was fantasizing about killing people, and he wondered what was wrong with him, which is why he became obsessed with criminology, forensic science, psychology, all that stuff. Norton, however, added that Kohlberger did keep a distance from his classmates due to anti-LGBTQ comments he allegedly made in class. And I don't know why he would go to a liberal school like that, because Washington, over there in Washington, they're quite liberal. They're quite liberal, and there's a lot of LGBTQ over there. Well, at least in Seattle. I don't know, guys, where is Washington State University located, y'all? Where is Washington? Somebody put it in the chat. Washington State University. What's university located? If it's located in Seattle, he's done. Oh, it's in Pullman. Why did I just think that? We just talked about Pullman. Is a public land grant research university in Pullman. Okay, it's in Pullman, guys. But still, I would think since Seattle is more liberal, guys, don't you think Washington is all liberal the same way? Let me know what y'all think. Okay, Elise Hendry says a really nice ski resort. Parents probably pretty affluent people. I'm thinking yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yep. Elisa says that's why he did that survey he sent to criminals. That was creepy if you read that. Girl, yeah, I did. I just talked about that in part 1. I already talked about that one. I'm not going to repeat it in this one too. But yeah, we already talked about the survey he did, his crazy survey in part 1, girl. You was in there. You was in there when we talked about it. But anyway, she said he sort of creeped people out because he stared and didn't talk much. Oh my God, guys. They said he sort of creeped people out because he stared and didn't talk much. He fits the profile. Remember, that's what about the profile. And they said the person that did this is probably some creepy dude who doesn't really talk much, you know, kind of antisocial. People think he's weird. Well, he fits the profile, y'all. But so let's read that again. He sort of creeped people out because he stared and didn't talk much. But when he did, it was very intelligent and he needed everyone to know he was smart. Norton told the Times. Wow. Sounds like Ted Bundy to me. That's how Ted Bundy was. Another student who spoke with the Times under the condition of anonymity, being very anonymous, backed up Norton's claim and said Kohlberger didn't have many friends at the school. Oh, that's what they said about the profile. Remember, if you've been studying this case, there was a person that came out. I don't know if they had like these, there was a guy too that came out and said, what do you think is the profile of the criminal? And they were like, well, he's probably an antisocial type person. He doesn't have many friends. And that's what they're saying about him. They're saying he didn't have many friends at the school because of the alleged offensive remarks about the LGBTQ that he said. I'm thinking Washington's period is more of a liberal state period because I know in Seattle, I know even though this school is not in Seattle, I know it's in Pullman, but I'm still thinking this school is liberal though. And so they probably have a lot of LGBTQ there, which is why he didn't have much friends, because he was speaking very negative about that community. Ben Roberts, a classmate of Kohlberger, and Norton echoed the suspect's usual quiet nature in class. But so they said normally, guys, he was always quiet and reserved. But after the killings, his demeanor changed. He became talkative. He became flamboyant. He became confident. Guys, this guy was proud of himself for what he did to the poor 4 victims. Isn't this disgusting? Oh my gosh. This dude is so sick. He started showing up really tired. Why was he so tired, y'all? He was up all night studying about what the authorities knew about the case. He was online watching all those different, those different news stations we were watching. He was watching those too all night. He got all them Google searches. They're going to find all that on his computer. So, yep, they're going to find it all. He would show up really tired, Roberts told the Seattle Times. He'd always have a cup of coffee in his hand. And he kind of looked like he was riding the knife edge between worn out and completely exhausted. Notice the words they use, riding the knife edge, and he used a knife too. That's interesting. He was riding the knife edge between worn out and completely exhausted. Yeah, because he was stressed out that they probably gonna find out about him. So he was looking at all the different reports out there about him. And we watched this video the other live before. This is just a video of them going in his house. They're dusting for DNA, for other evidence at his apartment.
Our worst fears came true in June.
Girl, we do not want to hear about your worst fears right now. We're talking about Idaho 4 right now, okay? Sorry for that interruption, girl. All right, guys. So this is one of the girls in the class, one of the classmates here. A former classmate, Cassie Arntz of Idaho murder suspect, has shared information about his past, saying he worked security at their school district. So here she is. She went on her TikTok, Miss Cassie here, and she is over here sharing some tea, y'all, about him. But they don't have it on here. They don't have the clip. Why y'all not gonna give us the clip now? Here is a clip right here, though. Look at this sicko. This is him. He looks like a murderer. Y'all can't tell me he don't look like a murderer. The eyes, it's in the eyes, guys. I'm telling you. Whoever studies behavior, and I don't be judging me. Don't come for me, y'all. But I was a psychology major in undergrad. I graduated and got a bachelor's in psychology. But the reason why I did that was because it was going to help me in my career as an attorney. I always wanted to be a criminal prosecutor. And so I wanted to study psychology so I could use that as a way to be very equipped and skilled as a prosecutor, which it did actually help me in my career. But this sicko, you can study behavior and look at this man's eyes, guys. This man gives me the creeps. I'm serious. Look at his eyes, man. Oh my God, he looks so sinister. I guarantee you guys, I guarantee people used to get the creeps about this dude in class. They probably already felt something was wrong with him, y'all. They knew something was wrong with this dude. In a TikTok video, Cassie claimed KOHBERGER had managed to get clean from drugs by the time they last spoke in 2017. Yeah, people who are seeing him, they said when he would go to school, he would look like he was on drugs. Oh, you said I gotta find it? Oh, tell me to find it. Is this it? School friend of KOHBERGER. Let's see if this is it. This might be it.
My brother was really good friends with him. Other friend Brandon was really good friends with him. I'm gonna have a picture of him with him on the green screen as well. I'm shaking still, but anyway, let me show you. This is Brandon, the one I was just talking about. It's his wife Brianna, and that's me. This was back in 2017. Obviously, that's Bryan. Still has the dead face that. It's the eyes. I don't know. But when I spoke to him back in 2017, he was clean. He was a heavy heroin user back in high school. And it was just nice to see the kid clean up. And at that time, he said he was doing security detail. I believe it was out of school is what he told me. But he seemed like he was better. Obviously, that wasn't true. Here's another picture from a party that we had at Brandon's house. That's Bryan there. He used to be a bigger kid as well. But again, that's him. And then at the same wedding, I'm here, but he's back there. He was sitting at the same table as me and my mother. But he is back there enjoying a drink. I was sitting right next to him. We talked. He seemed fine. My mom sent me the old school yearbook. That was him. Bryan KOHBERGER. That's him. He went to Pleasant Valley. Graduated with, I think, my friend Christopher, a year younger than me. This is when he nonchalantly decided to make me drive him around the Poconos for heroin, and I had no idea. I thought I was just doing a nice deed, because he needed something. And it turns out that he was getting heroin.
Oh my gosh, guys, did you hear that? Even she said the stuff noted about the eyes. She was literally shaking. That woman was shaking, trying to even tell us about him. And then she said he had her drive him around to go get some heroin. This guy had psychological issues from so many years dating back. You got to go to part 1 because we talked about his high school years and being a bully, his friends saying he had psychological issues and he started to be aggressive towards him and trying to practice using his kickboxing skills on people and bullying people. How the other woman, the neighbor, talked about how he tried to punch her window out before and then now he's calling women bees and all kinds of names and being aggressive with women at bars. Like, this dude has a history of problematic behavior. He wanted to do this, you guys. He studied this stuff because he knew he had some psychological issues.
He was getting heroin.
My gosh. This woman even looks terrified trying to talk about him. Look at her. You could tell that the hair on the back of her neck is literally raising as she's trying to tell us what happened. So Cassie, 29, that was the young lady in the video. She said an old friend of Kohberger recently took to TikTok to describe details of his life, y'all. She went on her TikTok. She told how the last time she had spoken to Kohberger was 5 years ago when they ran into one another at a wedding, when he appeared well after allegedly using drugs during high school. That explains, remember the other video we talked about in part 1, we talked about the fact that in high school, he was very overweight his junior year. But when he came back the senior year, the friend said his behavior changed. He became really aggressive and towards the friends. All the friends stopped hanging out with him. And they said he became unusually very thin, very thin. Well, that's because he was using a lot of drugs, because this other friend is confirming the same thing, that he had been using heroin in high school. Because she's confirming allegedly using drugs during high school. So remember I was saying I thought maybe he was using those drugs. Well, she's just confirmed it. That's why he lost all that weight and got thin from between the year of his junior year to his senior year. Oh my gosh, this guy, the more we hear about him, the more sick stuff comes out about the guy. 17, when I spoke to him, he was clean, Cassie said. He told the other lady too, because it was a neighbor that he talked to in our other article. She said he was clean, but yeah, right. She said he was doing security detail at a school. That was at a high school, I believe, but he seemed like he was better. Obviously, that wasn't true. Reports show that while working at his alma mater in the Pleasant Valley School District in 2018, Kohberger earned praises for saving another security officer's life when the officer was having an asthma attack. Okay, wow, he saved one person's life. Wow. That don't mean anything. Cassie's brother, Thomas, described Kohberger as a bully. I'm done, guys. As a bully who with friends' flaws and insecurities in order to distract from his own weight struggles. So he was like one of those verbally abusive people that would make fun of people to basically get the attention off of his own low life insecurities, y'all. He over here talking about other people's flaws because he don't want them to look at the fact that he had weight issues. So I think that's why he got on the drugs, so he can lose weight fast. He started taking all them drugs to lose the weight. The friend says he did that to me all the time, Thomas said. Oh, that's sad. He was bullying Cassie's brother, y'all, Thomas. He would go after my intelligence. He would basically insinuate that I'm kind of slow-witted and that I'm forgetful and that I lack the intelligence to be his friend. Wow. He was verbally abusive too. Why they always start out that way? They start out verbally and then they turn physically. And look what they was studying in his school pursuit. Look at it. This is the stuff that he was looking at. No wonder he was fascinating. He didn't have any issue with all the blood that was showing, y'all. You know, all the blood. He didn't care about all that because look at this type of stuff he sees in class. Look at this. They reenacting this. He got tired of the fake dummy dolls with the fake blood. He wanted to see the real thing. Wow. I'm done with this dude. I am so done. In his pursuit of learning forensic psychology, Kohlberger took classes at DeSales University from famed criminologist Catherine Ramsland. And she was interviewed recently, too. I've seen her interview. Who has written extensively about the psychology behind murders and how investigators hunt them down. But look at the photo, though. This is the type of stuff he gets to see with all this fake blood. This wasn't enough for him. He was like, I need to see the real thing. I'm tired of this fake blood. I'm tired. I want to see the real thing. And you know how sick this man was? One murder wasn't enough. He had to kill all 4, and he would have killed all 6 if he had known about the other 2. I don't think he knew about the other 2 girls in there. Those 2 girls got lucky. They better be thanking the Lord. If they don't know Jesus, they need to go learn about him now, because I'm telling you, they were blessed to be alive. Blessed. Because if he knew those other 2 girls were in there, he would have took them out too. I don't think he knew. I think he was probably angry that he missed the other 2 people in there. What a sick, disgusting dude, man. While DeSales, Kohlberger had completed a research project asking ex-cons to map out how they committed their crimes, y'all. That's what he did at that college. We talked about that in the other video, so I'm not going to go into details, but it might be in this second part. It doesn't hurt to review it again. Prior to attending Washington State University, Kohlberger was a student at DeSales University, where he learned all of psychology from famed criminologist Catherine Ramsland. Wow, she was famous too, y'all. Ramsland has written extensively about the psychology behind murders and how investigators hunt them down, including how to catch a killer in the mind of a murderer. This is the stuff he learned about, guys. This man has been studying this stuff for years. Once you look at the details of the stuff he learned, it all makes sense why he wanted to carry out these murders. He wanted to carry out the stuff he'd been learning about for years. Learning about it wasn't enough. Classmates at DeSales said Kohlberger took to the course Psychology of Death Investigators. Oh my God. Right now, you know what? This is probably a project for him. He can't wait to hear what the investigators know, how they're going to, catch him, all this sick stuff. Named after one of Ramsland's books, and had completed a research project asking ex-cons to map out how they committed their crimes. That's what we talked about before. Weird thing he had. In a now deleted Reddit post about the project, students had wanted to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. I bet you Kohlberger was really interested in that, y'all. Kohlberger and his project partners had asked the former criminals questions about how they targeted their victims, how they prepared for the crime, their travel details. Their travel details, guys? What if he applied everything the murderers told him to this case? And how the crime played out. And then he goes and carries it out, guys. This is insane. This story is crazy, right? Shoot, we don't need to watch movies. All we got to do is turn on the news. He graduated from DeSales University in Pennsylvania in May 2022 with a Master's of Arts in Criminal Justice. And we saw that photo. He looked disturbing, y'all. Ramsland did not immediately respond to Daily Mail's request for comment. In a statement, DeSales condemned alleged crime. The school said, as a Catholic, how y'all Catholic, but y'all speaking about murders and stuff. I'm just saying, Salesian community, we are devastated by this senseless tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims. Let's hear what she got to say, y'all. I think this is the lady. Monroe residents react to the Idaho suspect.
I'm surprised out in Idaho for the guy to end up here with the car. Wow, that's right around the block from me.
But yeah, it's usually really peaceful up here. Even like this busy road is pretty peaceful all the time. I love Pennsylvania. So, but seeing something like this, I mean, you just never know, Indian Mountain Lakes I think they have like 60 miles of roads in there, something like that. So it's a huge community. So anybody could be anywhere, man.
I'm surprised out in Idaho for the guy to end up here with the car. Wow. That's right around the block from me.
But yeah, it's usually really.
I'm surprised.
Man, imagine, guys, if you were one of the neighbors. Oh my gosh. Ah! Here's a photo of Ethan. We already see this one a lot of times. We see these already. So here is a nice breakdown of the house and the different floors. I'm glad they have something like this because I didn't have like this on my part 1 of the video that I did on this. But here's showing you, here's the 3rd floor up here. Here's the 2nd floor. And down here is the 1st floor of the house. And then up, they're showing you where they were located. Kaylee and her beautiful best friend, where they were up here on the 3rd floor. The boyfriend and girlfriend was here on the 2nd floor right here. And these two that survived, luckily, they were lucky. They were here on this 1st floor. That's where all the people were located. That's kind of what they said here, y'all. Kaylee and Madison were found on the top floor of the Moscow, Idaho home. College lovers Ethan and Xana were found on the 2nd floor, while survivors Dylan and Bethany were sleeping on the 1st floor. So that's kind of, I'm glad they gave a clear photo. We can kind of see how the house was made up. Man, those 2 girls at the bottom, they should be so happy they did not. Oh, they're lucky. That's the first major break in the case. KOHBERGER asking if anyone else. Y'all hear that? This man is already starting to try to apply his studies to the case already. He think he in a project right now. He probably sitting in the jail excited about the, oh, look, I'm in a whole project. Look at me. Whoop-de-doo. Is anyone else arrested? He know good and well nobody else is arrested when he was taken into custody. An extradition hearing is scheduled for Tuesday. But notice his comment, is anyone else arrested? He doesn't sound surprised. He doesn't ask them, why am I being arrested? What is this about? He just says, is anyone else arrested? Just weird, huh? KOHBERGER is registered Liberian, also does not appear to have any active social media profiles at the time of his arrest. No active profiles? What? No active profiles on his social media. No wonder. That's another consciousness again. Why you don't have a profile? Why don't have any social media? During a press conference on Friday, authorities confirmed that a white Hyundai Elantra was discovered in the search, which sources say it was towed from outside KOHBERGER's home. Law enforcement told CNN that his DNA was discovered at the scene of the crime, which officers managing to track down who owned the car seen in the area of the slings. And the important thing to know about this, y'all, the important thing, oh, Happy New Year to those in the East Coast. It's still earlier where I'm at. It's not even New Year yet, but Happy New Year to everybody. Okay, we done. Okay. So they said DNA was discovered at the scene of the crime scene, guys. And that's going to be incriminating because probably his DNA is definitely probably mixed in with their DNA at the scene. And he probably got bruises from because she was fighting him. With officers managing to track down who owned the car seen in the area of the slings. However, KOHBERGER has no prior arrests, according to the public records. So it's unclear how officials got a hold of his DNA. Well, we guessed on that, y'all, in our last live. My guess is, y'all, that they were watching him for weeks, like TMZ said in their report, and that they basically was waiting for him to drop some DNA. They probably digged in his garbage when he threw garbage away, stuff like that, and that's how they got his DNA, because he was nowhere in the criminal system. They couldn't find his records. They couldn't pull anything on him. So that's how they got his DNA. They were watching that man for years. For years. I said for years. Did y'all hear me? I said for years. They were watching him for weeks, y'all. Authorities then discovered that he had left the area and traveled to Pennsylvania, where FBI surveillance team had been tracking this tall man. Dang. Guys, now we know his build. He is 6 feet tall. No wonder he's a big dude, y'all. 6 feet tall. Yeah, he did do this on his own, y'all. He's a tall dude. Tall, muscular dude. Not muscular, but tall. You guys know he took kickboxing in the past. So he's got that prior kickboxing skills. He was kept under surveillance with the FBI watching him for 4 days while investigators from Moscow and Idaho State Police warrant. So they were over there trying to get that arrest warrant real fast while the FBI kept. The FBI don't play. No FBI. Okay, anyway. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., the girls, along with Donna and Ethan Chapin, at their off-camera. 1:40 a.m. Madison and order food from grub trucks outside the garden lounge. And then they get murdered. This is a really heartbreaking story, man. Man. Moscow Chief Police James Fry refused to rule out that the killer had an accomplice, adding, "We have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes." Okay, but the weird part about it is that question he did ask. Guys, he did ask a weird question of the authorities. Wait, what's going on with my connection? Can y'all hear me still? Let me know if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat. I'm having connection issues over here because we have a storm right now. So if you could put a 1 in the chat for me, please, because I don't want to keep going if it's... Oh, not again. No, please. No. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me? 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please, please. I need to know. Okay, I see some 1s. Guys, I'm having connection issues. I'm having connection issues. We have a severe, crazy, wild storm where I'm located, and it keeps knocking my internet out of connection. So let me try to get back to where I was. Because this article has so much stuff in it. Hold on, y'all. Thank you for your patience. Okay, I think we're back. Let me share. What is this? Let me try again, y'all. Please be patient. I'm having some weird connection stuff going on over here in this crazy storm. Okay, so we were just here, y'all. We lost track of where we was. And there's a flyer that was seeking what was going on. Okay, Nick McClellan, who was friends with Kohlberger at school, told the Daily Beast he was stunned to see his old acquaintance arrested. McClellan said Kohlberger was down to earth when he graduated junior year, but at the start of senior year, Kohlberger returned thinner than a rail because he was on them drugs, y'all, and had turned aggressive and started taking up the kickboxing. Recalling how their friends soured, McClellan added he always wanted to fight somebody. He was bullying people. We started cutting him off from our friend group because he was 100% a different person. That's what we talked about before. He just started acting weird, y'all. And I think it's after the drugs. He started getting on these drugs. He started getting thinner. Then he started turning like a bully. Kohlberger said he had no idea what prompted the sudden change. Little is known about Kohlberger's little is known about Kohlberger's family. But let's check this out. We do know he has 2 sisters, y'all. His father, Michael, and his mother, Marianne. Oh, we got the names now. They didn't dox the names. Y'all. The is Marianne. Oh, why y'all do that? What's going on? They want to be in the camera, y'all. They're trying to be on the screen. Okay. The father is Michael and the mother's Marianne. She lives in the home where he was believed to have been staying when he was arrested. In 2010, Michael filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It's unclear why he and his wife do for work now. Wow, so they had some financial issues, y'all. They filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He has 2 older sisters, Anne and Melissa. Melissa, 31, is a therapist in New Jersey, and she's a family married. She's a family therapist. While he is accused of atrocious brutality, both Melissa and his mother, Marianne, have spoken out in the past against violence. Wow. And Melissa's the marriage family therapist, so that makes sense why she would speak out against violence. But clearly their brother is into violence, y'all. In May, after the Uvalde mass shooting in Texas, Marianne submitted a letter to a local newspaper in which she included a poem written by Melissa about the massacre. Oh, look, this must be the poem here, y'all. Let's read what she said. May 24th, 2022, Texas, written by Melissa KOHBERGER. She said, bereft of their laughter, there is now not a sound as we lower our children into the ground. Oh my God, that is so sad. Small hands and feet buried 6 feet deep into the earth of the world that failed them. What kind of poem is this? This sounds like a cold, decrepit poem to me. As I read the poem, I thought whatever the solution, I pray we consider the children before the gun. Oh, as I read the poem, I pray whatever the solution, I pray we consider the children before the gun. Marianne KOHBERGER. Sorry, this poem to me sounds real sick and decrepit to me. I'm not trying to overread into stuff. You know how people are reading this stuff because now you find out somebody's relative is a killer. But just the words don't sound, it doesn't sound like, you know, something inspiring to me. It sounds weird. It's like she's talking about a kid being buried 6 feet under and all this weird stuff. Yeah, I remember the mass shooting, Alyssa. Yeah, I know what she's talking about. But I'm just saying the way she describes the kids, she should, oh God, that's weird. Because she says, as we lower our children into the ground, small hands and feet, buried 6 feet deep into the earth. Girl, why you I don't know. The way she speak about it, it sounds kind of cold and decrepit. I remember that shooting in Texas. That was sad. That was a really sad case. Woo, this is the poem written by his sister, though, the therapist. I don't know what they was into. As I sat this morning reeling from yet another school shooting, I found myself wrestling with which actions need to be taken to stop all the madness. What is the answer? Gun control measures? Mental health intervention? Then I received a message from my daughter who works as a mental health therapist in New Jersey. This is from his mom. She says she shared a poem she had written while in the greatest depths of despair. It shook me to the core. I felt the need to share it, Marianne wrote. The poem reads, bereft of their laughter, there is now not a sound as we lower our children into the ground. Small hands and feet buried 6 feet deep into the earth of the world that failed them. No one from family has yet commented on his arrest. Classmates from the high school he attended have also spoken of their shock. And we talked about this lady right here. Woo! Yeah, this is some of the evidence right here, y'all. Look at the evidence that they picked up. Yep. Outside the apartment of suspect BRYAN KOHBERGER in graduate housing on campus at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. This is the evidence, y'all. This is the stuff that the officers, the FBI and all them were picking up and confiscating to start looking into this sick man. And here's his graduation.
BRYAN KOHBERGER.
Okay, guys, the weird part about that video, notice how the girl that walks before he walks.
Being there, and I'm glad I got you. Shit.
The girl that walks before him when she goes to pick up her diploma, she's smiling and happy. And notice how he walking up looking angry and decrepit to pick up his diploma. That tells you the stark difference between him and his sick personality and people who have normal mindsets, y'all. Just see. Somebody says, very strange kid. I work with him for a bit at a pizza shop. Nice kid, but just out there, commented one former colleague on social media. Wow. See, there's all these people who knew him, said he was strange, was a bully, had anger issues. Oh my gosh. Lawrence Rosenberger said he attended classes at the Career and Technical Institute with KOHBERGER, but that he dropped out in 2014 without completing the course because he was into crime. He wanted to see why he wanted to kill all these people in his head. You know what I mean? He'd been watching all these crime documentaries, fantasizing about it. He would always look bug-eyed, like on drugs, and nobody in the class really never talked to him. That's why he only went for 2 years and left without taking the final exam, he said. Wow, so he was on drugs allegedly during his vocational school. Oh my God, look, they said he looked bugged out like he was on drugs. Wow. He's been a long time drug user, allegedly. A lot of sources are saying this. We've already talked about it on part 1, and now we're hearing from other people too. D-Cells, where Kohberger obtained his undergraduate degree, where he commissioned a survey of ex-cons on how they committed crimes, released a statement on Friday admonishing the violence of the murders. On Friday, December 30th, D-Cells University learned of the arrest of Bryan Kohberger in connection with the murder of the 4 University Idaho students. Kohberger received a bachelor's degree in 2020 and completed his graduate studies in June 2022. As a Catholic Celsian community, we are devastated by the senseless tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims' families during this difficult time. The University of Washington State, where he was studying recently, is yet to issue a statement. Authorities were left baffled by the brutal killings and have repeatedly appealed to the public for help with the case. Reports from both the coroner and police confirm that each of the students had been stabbed multiple times in the torso and were ambushed in their sleep. Police have found no evidence of a sex crime, and the victims had wounds on their bodies, which indicated they tried to fight off the attacker. So they're saying a lot of them had to fight him off. Man, that is so sad, y'all. My gosh. Ugh. Wow. Let's see if this is some new stuff. Some of this stuff's kind of redundant, guys. They're just saying they thought they were all asleep, suffering gouging. Oh my God, they suffered gouging wounds and rips. This was a horrible death, guys. This is so sad to hear these details. Gouging wounds. Oh my God, poor babies. They said the police chief of Moscow admitted that investigators did not understand how the 2 surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, appeared to sleep through the attack because they were in a deep sleep, probably. Multiple people talked about with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police officer arrived at the location. When they arrived at the scene, they said they found Kurdodal and Chapman, who were in a relationship, on the 2nd floor, with Mogan and Gonsalves sharing a bed on the top floor. Oh, they were sharing a bed, guys. 2 best friends. Oh my God, I want to cry. I just want to cry. This is so sad. The poor girls that loved each other like best friends die. Oh, that is so sad. While they were so... I really hate that this happened. I hate it. Ugh. Authorities believe they were stabbed to death somewhere between 3 to 4 a.m. in the morning after enjoying a night out. There's been 20,000 tips and questioned 300 people about the murders. Dang, 300 people. Dang. Authorities today clearing the property, but previously stated they do not know how long it will take to clean up the property, adding it will be returned to the property manager when complete. Ooh, I feel sorry for that property manager, y'all. Nobody gonna want to rent this out. Okay. The update comes just days after Fry told KREM his investigators are still waiting for crime lab results from evidence collected at the scene. Look at that, crime lab results. Yep, they got some DNA on him. Yep, they got DNA on the man. Whoa. Okay, they're going to give us a bunch of redundant stuff now. We don't want to hear about all this. We already know about how it happened. Let's see if Dateline has some more reports, guys, because oh yeah, he's an OCD Liberian vegan who looked drug. Oh yes. There is another article. Let me see. Is this the one that talks about him being the OCD Liberian? Because he is also known as being an OCD. Oh, here it is, guys. So this is the one I was telling you about before. That he was this OCD Liberian, y'all. So SWAT teams descended on sleepy the mountain town to catch Liberaton, Idaho murder suspect who was obsessively vegan as a teen and looked drugged at school. So this is another thing about him, that he looked like he was drugged at school. He was this excessive OCI. So relatives say he was OCD about his veganism, and he forced family to buy new pots if they ever cook with meat in it. They didn't want to eat. He didn't want to eat with a pot if there was ever meat in it. He was like really OCD about it. He's registered as a Liberaton in voter records and has never been arrested. Some who attended school with him say he looked drugged. So SWAT team was sitting on a sleepy residential community in Pennsylvania, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the part where he is OCD, y'all. Let's see what the family was saying. DNA evidence links him to the scene. We already know that. So we got some DNA on the man. I'm trying to get to the veganism, because he was into some weird stuff, y'all. My gosh. Okay, so they said he's a registered Liberaton, although he does not appear to have had any active social media profiles at the time of his arrest. A relative told the New York Post that KOHBERGER is an OCD. He's OCD about his eating habits, and he forced his family. Dang, he forced his family. Oh my God. Woo! To buy new pots that had never been used to cook meat. Okay, he doing too much. Come on now. You're doing too much, okay? It was above and beyond being vegan. His aunt and uncle had to buy new pots and pans because he would not eat from anything that had ever had meat cooked in them. But it's interesting how he stabs up human flesh. Weird. This man is so contradictory. He seemed very obsessively compulsive, the woman said. He had an obsessive disorder. During a press conference on Friday, authorities confirmed that the white Hyundai Elantra was discovered in the search, with sources saying it was towed, and he's a registered Liberaton, being obsessive about his eating habits. Okay, what else they got in here? No prior arrests, travel to Pennsylvania. Okay, we already know about all this. Students studied criminal decision-making post-research. We talked about that. Suspect on the by police, court orders Idaho. The court ordered the police to stop the cleanup too. They can't clean up anymore. I wonder what's going on with that. Details of the killings and the motive for them are not yet released, with law enforcement saying a sealed arrest affidavit will be released once KOHBERGER is extradited back to Idaho. Ooh, I want to know the motive, man, because we just read about him calling women bees and all this stuff when they reject him. So I wonder if he was rejected by one of the girls. Pretty sorority girls, guys. What if he felt rejected? Look at this. Okay, look at this research thing that he did. Let's read it, guys. What he did. Okay, research participation needed. This is what Brian said. Hello, my name is Brian, and I am inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. In particular, this study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense. What? I'm done. I'm done with him. He really trying to find out for himself, y'all. He want to find out what these people feel because he want to do it. This study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense with an emphasis on your thoughts and feelings throughout your experience. In the event that your most recent offense was not one that led to a conviction, you may still participate. Additional surveys are included about the open-end section as to best understand your unique traits. The study should take about 15 to 20 minutes to fully complete. Your identity and answers provided are completely confidential, and the link to the survey is anonymous. This research has been approved by DeSales University. Participants must be 18 years or older. If you opt to participate, you may terminate participation at any time for any reason. Wow. Student investigator Bryan Kohberger. Sure. Wow. Wow. I'm just like, ooh, it is understood that Kohberger is a PhD student at Washington State University within the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, within the university, with the university removing his profile from the right, guys. They removed his profile. It was like, we don't want him to be associated with our school anymore. They took him off. Wow. As a part of his research, Kohberger posted an appeal for help on social media with his research, which was looking at how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. Oh my gosh. This story gets crazier and crazier. Now, I want to try to see if I can find some more articles because I know they got more articles on Daily Mail. Daily Mail has the best information, y'all, because they be really giving us the details. Okay, this is that other article we were still on, but then it wanted to cut us off. So we got to see if there's anything else in here. Oh my God. Yeah, friend of Idaho murder suspect visibly shakes in TikTok video. Yeah, we saw that already. That still kind of took me out when I saw that video, y'all. I was like, she was so terrified, you guys. We missed anything else in this article? Yeah, we've seen this one when she was terrified. She literally looked like she was out of breath, you guys. Was this where we stopped at? There was a part in this article where we stopped at and then it cut off. Okay, here it was, guys. This is the part where we were on. Yeah, and then it cut off. This is where he asked if anyone else was arrested when he was taken into custody, trying to be smart mouth, y'all. And during the press conference Friday, authorities confirmed that the white Honda was discovered. The authorities announced that they found DNA. We already talked about that. Sometimes the Daily Mail wants to repeat stuff. James Fry refused to rule out that the killer had an accomplice, though. That's interesting. While we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes. So I wonder if there's, because he asked if they arrested somebody else. So I'm wondering, did he have an accomplice, guys? I'm really starting to wonder now. Because why did he ask that if they arrested someone else? I'm really wondering now. Details of the killings and the motive for them are yet to be released, with law enforcement saying a sealed arrested affidavit will be released once he's extradited. So that should be on Tuesday, y'all. He is going to be having a hearing January 3rd. So that is Tuesday. There is no set time scale for how long the extradition from Pennsylvania to Idaho will take. If Kohberger doesn't contest, it'll happen relatively quickly. Can you believe this guy? He wasted his whole life away fantasizing about killing people. I can't. I just can't. I want to go back and see if there's any other details in the other articles, because last time I got off the live and then I was mad because I found a whole new story to tell y'all about. I'm like, oh my gosh. There's so many stories about this guy. It's just... Okay, here's these other ones here. Profile weigh in on PhD student charged in Idaho. Idaho murder suspect cheered up in class after killings. Friend of Idaho murder suspect visibly shakes in TikTok video. Yeah, we already watched that, though. This girl right here looked like she was terrified out of her mind. Okay. Was Idaho suspect planning the perfect murder? Profiler claimed PhD student charged in the quadruple slaying was well aware of his dark nature and homicidal ideation, but academic arrogance was his downfall. Whoa! Oh, why does this sound so true, though? He was so arrogant about himself. He thought he was above the law. He was going to get away with it, y'all. Criminal profile Enzo and former FBI agent Jonathan Gilman. Oh, we got evidence. Spoke to Daily Mail about the background of suspect killer Bryan Kohberger, allegedly. And they say he stabbed 4 people, blah, blah, blah. They said that profiler believes he was well aware of his dark nature in choosing his field. Yeah, he chose that field for a reason. Oh my gosh. This person says, I suspect that Kohlberger was well aware of his dark nature and homicidal ideation and endeavored to discover more about himself through his studies. Yeah, that's what I think he did, said Enzo, a criminal profiler, founder of the Homicide Research Group. I think that's true. But pursuing an advanced degree to become a better murderer is a foolhardy exercise. He added, as nothing more is learned about such tactics and strategies that can be found on a popular podcast or true crime book. Exactly. Like, you can't learn anything from going to school studying it. He thought he was going to go to school and get all these doctorate degrees and it was going to make him a better killer until he carried out his crime. What a sick psychopath. We could all watch this on Crime Dateline or something. If Kohlberger is an aspiring serial murderer, which I think he is, who desired to commit the perfect murder, he quickly learned what many have discovered in the modern age. It is far more difficult to get away with serial killing today than when Ted Bundy was active. Exactly. That's why we don't see a lot of serial killers, guys. That's why, right? Alyssa says, Queen, this is right here is crazy. I read this yesterday and was like, what in the world? Girl, tell me about it. This man is straight up what if he is the reincarnated Ted Bundy, y'all? I put his name back up on there, Ted Bundy Jr. But see, he thought he was going to become the modern serial killer. But people don't realize with all the advanced technology we have, there just can't be another Ted Bundy the way he did it or the Jeff Dahmers or all those people out there because of how advanced our technology is now. By the time they get away with the first murder, they're caught. So, I mean, he tried. He thought he was going to study years upon years upon years to become this doctor in killings and still wasn't able to get away with it. I mean, he managed to escape being caught for 2 months, but that's still not really much. You know what I mean? If Kohlberger is an aspiring serial murderer who desired to commit the perfect murder, he quickly learned what many have discovered, y'all. Wow. Brian, oh my God. Here's Atypical Homicide Research Group founder Enzo to the left. This is him. Wait, him? And former FBI agent Jonathan Gilman, both to the right here, spoke with Daily Mail. These are the two people that are over here saying, you really thought she was going to be the next Ted Bundy, buddy? Nice try. Nice try. He tried to do this little research thing here, guys, with these questionnaires, and that didn't even help him, y'all. None of that helped him. None of it. Sick psychopath. Oh my God. I just want to, I'm so agitated with these people who just think it's a game. Like it's a game to kill people. This is not a game. Oh God. And this, you know, the survey that he did, guys, the one we just talked about, he did that just 5 months before the murders. Just 5 months ago when he was probing about their thoughts and feelings and tactics in carrying out these crimes. So this just feels as though he was doing this survey to prepare for this crime that he was going to do. Oh my God, guys, this guy is so disgusting to me. Oh, I wish we were in those other countries where they just take you out in the back and just take a firearm and just be like, boop. We too nice in America sometimes. We too nice. That's why these people keep doing stuff like this, because they get away with it, really. They just get a nice time in prison. They get nice warm meals. I'm tired of all this spoiling they get in these jails. Anyway, this person says, I suspect we will find out he was becoming satiated for a period of time learning from these criminals. But once that wasn't doing it anymore, he took it from fantasy to real life. Oh my God. So he was like really obsessed with learning about, criminals, but then all of a sudden it was boring to him. He wanted to take this fantasy he had and make it real life. That's what the former FBI agent Jonathan Gilman says in a phone interview. He sounds like he might be right. Quite often, a person evolves over time. As their desire evolves, the only way they can get those obsessive feelings in them to be satisfied every step of the way, he probably became a little bit more odd and a little bit more deviant. Yes, sounds like it when he was calling them girls bees and all these names just because they didn't want to be with him. And the fact that he's on drugs too, y'all. Allegedly. Wow. I'm done, guys. This is his apartment right here on the second floor. Right there is where he lived. This is window to his house right there where my mouse is. Allegedly. Or is this the window? I don't know, y'all. I just know his house is right here where all the authorities are. Forensic teams and police work on the apartment of Bryan Christopher KOHBERGER, 28, on Washington State University on Friday. Oh my God, I just can't believe it, guys. I'm so disgusted every time I hear about this guy. Like, I hear a lot about other, crimes, but some about this dude gives me weird, just nauseous vibes, like some real sinister. He's another Ted Bundy, man. That's how I feel when I read about Ted Bundy. Okay, they said this line of questioning hints at an unsophisticated offender who was not confident in his own abilities. So they said this guy noted that the questions in KOHBERGER's survey of criminal offenders seemed focused on crowdsourcing the best ways to plan for crimes. So this line of questioning hints at an unsophisticated offender who was not confident in his own capabilities, y'all. At the time of the murders, KOHBERGER was in the first semester of his PhD program at Washington State. He was in the first semester, y'all. He just barely started. Dang, just graduated in May from college and then just barely started his PhD studies. Oh my God. Yasik speculated that the arrogance inherent to being an academic may have contributed to his arrest. Right. He was very arrogant. Look at the photo of him. He's very arrogant, very nonchalant in the mugshot photo. And then the fact that he did this survey, guys, only 5 months before he committed the crimes just is so telling to me. It's like he was trying to learn from the criminals what they did and how they planned out their crime. But it's like, why would you try to learn from the very criminals that were caught? These people were obviously not good at what they did because they all ended up in prison. Duh. This guy, see, the people that swear up and down they're so the most dumb people in the room. Seriously. It has always been a myth that the uber intelligent serial murderers are able to avoid all obstacles and remain one step ahead of the police, the profiler added. This case perfectly encapsulates how even someone with a graduate degree is no better able to get away with murder than a common thug. This guy's over here roasting. Ew, Hayward, what are you smoking on, Haywood? Talking about Bryan is hot. Girl, you got some problems. You just over here being a troll. I'm about to put you on timeout if you say anything else weird, Haywood. Calm down. Why there's always some weird, sick person that always thinks a criminal is hot? Just like some people got mental health problems anyway. Sorry, guys. A lot of serial killers think they're highly intelligent, but they're not. Exactly. They're not. That's why they always get caught, right, Chance? They always think they're smarter than everybody in the room. It would be interesting to see what answers he got. I know, girl. Elisa, I love all your comments, girl. Exactly. I wonder what comments he got. What did he get? Oh, no, my connection's acting weird again. Don't do it, connection. Don't do it. Oh, gosh. Let's see. This case perfectly, I already talked about that. KOHBERGER was apprehended at his family's home. Okay, y'all need to stop repeating stuff. They be getting on my nerves. Daily Mail is annoying. Let's see. Okay, we knew he had no criminal record that would put his DNA on file. That was the problem. So the fact that they got a genetic evidence to a of the suspect. Oh, let's get the details, guys. So they said, though he has no criminal record that would put his DNA on file, investigators were able to match genetic evidence to a family member of the suspect using genealogy databases. CNN reported citing a source. Oh my gosh. So they got a family member's genetics. They matched it up, and that's how they figured it out. Oh my God. I thought they sat there and did the old school way, because the old school way, they would sit there and watch the suspect be stalking the suspect, and as soon as the suspect drinks something and put it in the garbage, they jump and get the cup or whatever. But they look like they used a family member of the suspect's genetic evidence. What? I'm done. But you know the weird part about this guy? He's OCD vegan, right? How are you an OCD vegan, but you over here chopping up human flesh like that, like you don't care? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Right. Cree says, I think he was getting off on hearing their stories of committing crimes until it wasn't enough, just reading the stories. Right. You're right. He started hearing about these stories. He was like, oh my God. And he's like, this is not good enough. Because you notice how his master's degree, his bachelor's degree, all these degrees he got wasn't enough. And so he got to his doctorate program and it started getting boring to him. He's like, this is boring. I want to really see how it feels in real life, you know? Oh my God, this guy's so disturbing, guys. But it's crazy how they use a family member's genetic evidence. Isn't that crazy, y'all? They said the details that have emerged of Kohlberg's life led him to believe that the suspected killer had developed a fixation on dominating others that evolved over time. After struggling with weight issues, Kohlberger reportedly became an extremely strict vegan, to the point that he insisted his family toss out any pots that had previously been used to cook meat. Oh, so he became vegan to try to lose all that weight. A high school classmate, Thomas Arntz, described Kohlberger as a bully who would happily note his friends' flaws and insecurities in order to distract from his own weight struggles. He did that to me all the time, Thomas told Daily Beast. He would go after my intelligence. He would basically insinuate that I'm kind of slow-witted and that I'm forgetful and that I lack intelligence to be his friend. Wow, y'all, I'm done with this weird, sick man. Thomas finally cut off the friendship after the continuous bullying. He noted that Kohlberger's father, a maintenance worker, and mother, a substitute teacher, were genuinely kind people. Okay, so now we know what their jobs are. So the dad is a maintenance worker and the mother is a substitute teacher. Interesting. Now, I wonder they had some financial issues. They probably didn't really have much money going on. Those don't sound like high-paying jobs, but y'all let me know. Maintenance worker and a substitute teacher. He says they was genuinely kind people. Oh, I feel sad for the mother and father because they got a sick psychopath for a kid. They should have known something was wrong with their kid. I'm just saying. I have a feeling there was something wrong when he was young, said Gilman, the former FBI agent. I think he's right. There's always been something wrong with the kid. He's right because we just read about earlier in part one. You got to watch part one when we were talking about some of the other people. Some of the people that went to high school with him. A neighbor said that he was bullying her kids and tried to punch out her window. Somebody else who had gone to school with him, who was his friend, said he was a bully and he wanted to try to exercise his kickboxing skills on people. He was very aggressive growing up. So that sounds like someone who's already disturbing as it is. So this FBI agent is right. They said he was a heavyset kid that was a bully and turned himself into an extreme vegan and a very dominant personality, he said. You do start to see a gradual increase in violent behavior, in particular dominance over other people. Oh my gosh. When I hear about him, I just really keep thinking about Ted Bundy, guys. I just keep thinking about Ted Bundy. This man reminds me so much of him. Wow. I feel like maybe he had a fascination with these different serial killers, and probably Ted Bundy was one of them. This is crazy, guys. Here's some pictures of him in his younger years. He still got those weird, sinister eyes of his, y'all. Oh, yeah, Cray says, interesting enough, Chris Watts lost a lot of weight. Yeah, Chris Watts was doing all that weird Weight Watcher, whatever stuff they were doing for their program they had going on. Oh, Elisa says, I just asked that. Don't you think the parents knew he was off? I smell an attempt at a sanity defense. Hope it doesn't work. Shaking my head. Girl, Elisa, you might be right. He might try to claim some insanity defense. But you know what? You know what? This kid thinks he's extra smart. He thinks he's extra smart, so he might just go outright say he's not guilty. He gonna try to think he gonna beat the justice system. You know, he's already asked all these different criminals how they got away with crime and all this crazy sick stuff, right? So what if he just turns around and tries to just use all the knowledge he learned in school to try to see if he can beat the charge? But you're right, Alyssa. We'll see if he tries to come up with an insanity defense. I wonder. I don't think he really can get away with it because he was real smart in school and didn't show any inability to understand and comprehend stuff. So I don't think he'd even stand a chance using an insanity defense. For some reason, I don't think he's going to use an insanity defense. I think he's going to try to outsmart the system and see if he can get away with it with his sick self. He might pull a Ted Bundy on us and try to represent himself, y'all. And he was 15 minutes away from Kylie's house. Oh man, I'm so sad. I'm so sad for the family, you guys. These people are messed up. I wonder what the parents feel right now. But the uncle said, man, they said he was beyond vegan. They wanted new pots and pans because he would not eat anything that had ever had cooked meat in it. He was trying to really be skinny, I guess, because people were making fun of his weight. But guys, I don't know what y'all think. I want to hear if there's a connection between him and Kaylee or the other girl. I don't know why I'm just thinking Kaylee. Because she said she had a stalker and she got most of the injuries. They were saying Kaylee was injured more than the other. Well, that's what the dad said, allegedly. Did she fight back more then? Was she the one that was really fighting him? Oh my gosh, I have so many questions. I can't wait till he is extradited, guys, back to Idaho so that we can find out the motive, because clearly they have a motive. I mean, they're saying they have a motive. Do they have just like Daily Mail, y'all? Daily Mail be having some more information. So I'm trying to look and see if Daily Mail has more stuff, because every time I get off this live, y'all, they always got something else. And I'll be like, man, I just finished the live. But I think so far, this is some of the details we have, y'all, about this psychopath. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this crazy man, Ted Bundy Jr., guys. Remember when that friend was describing him and how she's literally shaking in her she's like shaking inside. You think, Elisa, you think the attorney's gonna try, girl? You really think the attorney gonna be dumb enough to try? The attorney will be dumb enough to try. I really, if that would be the weakest argument that they would ever have to make if they try to do an insanity defense. That's the weakest argument, because this guy claims up and down he's a smart genius. So I don't know if they're going to try to do that. They're going to probably say something like, the only reason why my DNA is in the house is because I attended one of their sorority parties. They always have a lot of parties there. He's been studying this case, guys. The news literally is giving away all this evidence that house is known for being a very heavily populated house, highly trafficked, with a lot of people that come in and party. So he's just going to claim and accept. Also, guys, you have to understand that they were dumb enough to release that video surveillance of a bunch of people being in that house one day when all the girls were gone and nobody's there. So he could easily claim that he was at that house, at that party during the time when they were not there. And so he's going to say, that's why my DNA is in there, because I was just at a party. So, I think that would probably be a weak argument too, just because the DNA they found is probably his DNA mixed in with the victim's DNA. So I don't know how he's gonna be able to argue that in trial. But we'll see, Elisa. If they go with the insanity defense, girl, that's gonna be a weak argument because of how he is in class and how he's always being the smartest one and all that. I don't see him winning that argument, girl. I don't see it happening. Elisa says, "Oh my God, that would be a sophisticated Daryl Brooks, girl." You remember Daryl Brooks, Elizabeth? Daryl Brooks was a hot mess, girl. That was one of the most entertaining trials of 2022. I gotta say, it was one of the most entertaining trials. Girl, I watched that trial from beginning to end with my popcorn in my hand because that man was doing too much of the trial. Daryl Brooks was a mess. I know, Yesem. I cannot wait to hear the motive, Yesem. I want to know why he did this, guys. Why did he do this, man? Did he know one of the girls? Because clearly people are saying he was a womanizer. The way he was treating those people at the bar, calling the women bees, being aggressive with women, asking them if they have people, if they where they live at, and did they come with someone. He sounds like a total creep. He's a Ted Bundy. Y'all. I'm gonna put up his name again. Sorry, I took his name off. He's Ted Bundy Jr. That's his name. He is a Ted Bundy copycatter. Where did my name go? Where did he leave? Yeah, he is Ted Bundy. Yesem says, if Ted Bundy represent himself, the BRYAN creature will try to represent himself during trial. Girl, exactly, Yesem. He might try to this is going to be entertaining if we have another Daryl Brooks / Ted Bundy trying to represent himself. I would love to see that, guys. I would love to see this little guy who thinks he's the smartest person in the room trying to represent himself. This is going to be one of the, let's see, guys. I'm really interested in seeing if he's going to represent himself. And like Yesem says, I cannot wait to hear the motive. Alyssa says she could have been one in that bar where they were keeping notes that didn't give him attention or rejection, huh? Oh, Alyssa, you might be right, girl. Oh my gosh. What if Alyssa happened? Because they're very close. No, that can't be true though, Alyssa, because that bar is in Pennsylvania. She's not going to go all the way to Pennsylvania. I don't think that's true. But Alyssa, they did go to a bar that night before they were murdered. What if BRYAN was at the bar that night? What if he went to the bar where Kylie was and her friend, and he tried to make a pass at them and they rejected them? And they rejected him. And then he went back and tried to get revenge. He could have followed them or whatever, because they did go to a bar that night. So this, you guys, we got to figure this out. I want to know, because it looks like the authorities already know a motive. They're talking about they didn't say they didn't have a motive. They just said they're not going to release the motive. What else y'all say? Lisa says, someone said it was the dad that they matched from one of those services for DNA. Oh, so they used the dad's DNA. What, Elisa? Dang, the FBI was slick with it. They used the dad's DNA to match up the DNA of BRYAN. Wow. Now they're going to be able to just get a whole DNA sample from him now, because he's in custody. All they got to do is get a search warrant for his DNA and be like, oh, now we want your direct DNA. We want to solidify our evidence. Let's just get a direct DNA from you now. Cray3 says, I think he was getting off on hearing those stories of committing crimes. Wow, man, that's crazy. He probably was getting off on it. It would be interesting to see what answers he got. I want to know what answers he got on that survey, because that could really give us some clues. Or did he even get any answers? Yesem says, sounds like Leopold and Loeb criminals back in 1920s and 30s. They were brilliant young college students who desired to commit the perfect unalive. They were sadistic and arrogant to carry it out. Oh my gosh, guys. Man. Dang, you might be right, y'all. Oh, this is crazy. Yeah, like Alyssa said, this is crazy, girl. Oh my gosh. He needs to go. She said he needs to go straight to the row. He need a death row, man. A dropout, man. Alyssa thinks it's going to be an insanity defense. She really think it is. Girl, let's wait and see. You might be. We'll see. Let's see. Because if he does the insanity defense, Alyssa, that's like he's admitting to the crime, though. And right now, his whole little game is he's trying to claim he's innocent. He claimed he's going to be exonerated, that he didn't do it. So if he says insanity, that means he's already admitting that he did the crime. So why would he want to just go up outright and admit he committed the crime? You know what I mean? If he still claims he's so big and bad and smart. Right. Yesum's with me. I thank you, Yesum. Somebody else was saying what I was saying. She said his sister could have kept that poem to herself. It's disrespectful. Yeah, the way she wrote it was really weird and decrepit. Oh my God. Ugh. I don't know, just the way she wrote it, Alyssa, because Alyssa said that was after the kids killed at the school. Yeah, I remember the school shooting, but the way she wrote it, talking about kids buried 6 feet under and all that weird stuff, I'm like, girl, that don't sound like a heartfelt poem. Like, I don't know. It just sounded like she was, oh, that's weird. That the way she's trying to describe how kids are buried and all this stuff. Why would you talk like that? You don't want the parents to think of their kids being buried 6 feet under. What about talking about, how our society needs to change? Not talk about the kids themselves and them being buried. Talk about, how our society needs to change and we need to protect our children and, protect our children from gun violence and stuff like that. That would be a different kind. That'd be a better poem. But the way she's describing it, she's doing it in a very kind of cold, callous, weird way. Like, I'm just like, what kind of poem is this? What kind of poem? Oh my gosh, Save Mother Earth. Hi, Save Mother Earth. Oh gosh, I'm so happy to see you, girl. She said, imagine his creepy eyes looking down on you. Oh my God, girl. I don't want to imagine that. Why are you asking me to imagine that, Save Mother Earth? Girl. I don't want to imagine that. Right, that's what I'm thinking, Chance. I'm thinking that he was probably at the bar that night, and that could be where a majority of the witnesses were, right? Because they interviewed 300 witnesses. I cannot wait until this motive. I'm just like waiting until Tuesday comes. Well, because Tuesday's the hearing for the extradition, so they're probably not going to release the affidavit yet. We probably got to wait for the next hearing after that. We'll see. Once the extradition happens, then they're going to release it. We're going to figure out what this motive is, guys, because you're right. You might be right, Chance. You might be right. Because he's saying he probably was at that bar that night. And that's probably where all the witnesses are. What if these pretty cute girls just rejected him? Because you already heard of his past. He tends to can't handle rejection. He has a problem with handling rejection. So, and calling these women bees and all kinds of names. If he goes with an attorney facing death penalty, he could do like Cruz in Florida with insanity to get life. Oh yeah, that's true. But girl, Elisa, do you really think, girl, let's be honest, Elisa, you really think he's going to be successful with insanity defense? There is no way he's going to ever succeed in that, girl. Because he tries to claim up and down he's so smart. He always the smartest person in the room. There is no way. There is no way he would succeed. That's the weakest argument if he goes that route. Okay, girl. It was a dig at L.E. The last line of the poem is the point, but I see your point as well. Girl, I know it was a dig at the law enforcement. I know, girl, but I just giving my opinion. I know what she was trying to do, but just she didn't do it too well. That's all I'm saying, girl. She didn't do it too well, in my opinion. He thinks he's up for the challenge of representing himself during the trial. He doesn't want to plead insanity. He'd be the type to fire his lawyer if he agreed to one. I'm with Yesum on this one. I'm gonna have to agree with Yesum that I think he'd be kind of a smart aleck type of defendant that wants to represent himself, that wants to be all big and bad. Because he claims, oh, I'm gonna beat this case. I'm gonna be exonerated. I'm confident of it. That's what he told his attorney. And then you want to try to act like he's shocked. You are not shocked. You know you did it. Shut up. You just shocked that you got caught, okay? Because the authorities were smart and didn't say anything. It was reported he would be in Idaho court Tuesday, reported on local news. Yeah, but other stations are saying that how is he going to be in court on Tuesday if he didn't waive extradition, Alyssa? There's reports saying that he's gonna be in court in Pennsylvania, and then he can decide whether he's gonna waive his extradition. So we're gonna have to wait and see, because we just read a couple of reports saying he's gonna be in court in Pennsylvania, and then he's gonna decide if he's gonna waive his extradition. If he does waive his extradition, then he'll be in court in Idaho. Did he already waive his extradition in court though? That's the only way he'd be moved to Idaho. He'd had to have waived it already. Did he waive it yesterday in court? Because he was in court Friday. If he did waive extradition already in court, he'd be in court on Tuesday. But if he didn't waive it yet, he's going to be in court in Pennsylvania. So I haven't heard of him actually formally waiving it. I did hear that he plans to waive it. He said that his attorney said that in a recent hearing, because he was appointed an extradition attorney who said that he plans to waive it. So we'll see. We'll see, girl. Elisa says she don't think it's going to work, but she think he's going to do it. Okay, let's wait and see, girl. I really think he's too smart to even want to associate himself with being insane, But he might be right. But that's going to be the weakest argument if he goes with that, girl. It's going to be the weakest argument, because the way he planned it out and how he did the strategic things that he did, that doesn't sound like somebody who's insane. So he's not even going to stand a chance, girl. He won't even stand a chance. I think his route is going to be what Yesem says. He might try to represent himself. Local Idaho news, but I just repeating what the station said. Yes, that is what they said. Okay, she said local Idaho news. Okay, Alyssa, we'll have to wait and see, girl, because, girl, all these different sources out here giving us different information. So we will wait and see what happens on Tuesday, because I just read from Daily Mail. They're saying he's going to be in court in Pennsylvania. So, shoot, let's just wait and see, because these sources, girl, they be having all kind of different information floating around online. So I don't think he can just go to, I know he can't just go to Idaho until he waives his extradition in Pennsylvania. So if he hasn't formally waived it yet, then he'll be in court in Pennsylvania on Tuesday. If he has told the court that he waives extradition, then he'll be in court in Idaho on Tuesday. I just don't know what happened in court on Friday. Did he already waive his extradition on Friday then? He must have waived it already on Friday. Because he did have a hearing, he didn't have a hearing. He did appear in court yesterday. So if he told the court, hey, I'll waive my extradition already, then he's going to be in Idaho. I just didn't hear any reports out there saying he waived it formally. I did hear from TMZ that we read in the part 1 that he said he intends to waive his extradition hearing. So, girl, we're going to have to wait, Alyssa. Alyssa, it is a lot, isn't it, girl? It's a lot. Alyssa said, woo, child. Girl, it is a lot. It is too much for my soul to handle. That was reported on the news station, so we'll see. Okay, you said it was reported on the news station. Yeah, girl, there's different news stations out here changing the stories, so we got to figure out. Let's see what happens on Tuesday, Alyssa. We'll be back on Tuesday. But if I hear any other dirt on this man, I'll come back and talk about him, because we're going to have to study this man. Right, Yesem? I'm with Yesem. She said he loves all this attention. He sure does. He's enjoying it. That's why he had that smirk on his face with that self-conclusion clothing he had, or self-conclusion, anti-self-conclusion padding or clothing he had on right here. They're still searching for that weapon. Y'all not going to find that weapon. Y'all are not going to find the weapon. So I don't know why y'all think y'all go. He threw that weapon away. I wonder if they interrogated him already. Yeah, we already talked about him studying with this doctor, this famous, well-known doctor. This is, oh my God. I got to leave this case. I'm done for the night, guys. I'm done. Because this case is crazy, right? All right, guys, have a good night. I may or may not be back tomorrow with some more stuff if I find some more crazy stuff about this psychotic Ted Bundy Jr. Let's put his name back up there before we leave. Yep, Ted Bundy Jr. is in the house. Oh, God, this sick psychopath here. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. Yes, Alyssa says Daryl Books Ted Bundy combo. Girl, you think it's a Daryl Brooks though? Daryl Brooks is just a lunatic. I don't know what to think about that crazy man. I just think Ted Bundy, because this guy's more like, it's because Daryl Brooks wasn't like a sophisticated guy. He wasn't into school and studies and all that stuff. He gives me more Ted Bundy because he's more educated. You know how Ted Bundy was? He was studying to be a lawyer. He was, very educated, wanted to try to outsmart the system based upon all his studies and stuff. That's why I feel like he's more of a Ted Bundy. And he literally committed the same crime as Ted Bundy, going to a sorority house, killing all the women in there and stuff like that. Sounds like Ted Bundy, y'all. He just missed 2 women. But y'all, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Alyssa. Thank you for being with me, girl. The last few videos we did tonight. Happy New Year to all my beautiful viewers. We're going to have a wonderful year, 2023, together. We're going to enjoy all the wonderful stories we come across. I don't even know if I'm saying they're wonderful stories because we know we be talking about some crazy stuff. But hopefully we'll have some positive stories to talk about in 2023, y'all. But Happy New Year. I love all of you. I am so thankful for each of you and blessing me this 2022 last year. Alyssa said if he represents himself, us all, being sarcastic with the Daryl Brooks comment. Girl, I love you, Alyssa. I just love you, girl. Yeah, if he does represent himself, help us all. We're going to be in for the ride of our life. The ride of our life, Alyssa, girl. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful night. Happy New Year. I love you guys. Happy New Year, Jessica, Mallory. Bless you. Yes, so wonderful to see all my beautiful, lovely subscribers. You guys have been such a blessing to me in 2022, and you guys will continue to be a blessing to me in 2023. All right, take care, guys. Love you. Take care.